Hello, my class. Are you ready to read the next part of our story about Kandima? Isn't it exciting? Or nervous? All the things that she's done for the first time. She's left her home in the village in the mountains. She got to see and ride in a bus for the first time. She went to Tawan's house and spent the night there away from her family and had a bath in a bathtub with bubble bath, had her hair washed and cut for the very first time. Can you imagine being 6 years old and experiencing all of those things for the very first time? Do you think she was a little bit nervous but excited at the same time? Well, then I think about the people that were helping her. Tawan, of course, and Sebaniel and his wife, Auntie, Nancy and the other children. So many people that helped her. Do you wonder why? Why did they help this little girl who they had never met before? They didn't know her. But yet they trusted. Tawan brought her, and they knew that she needed help, and they knew that they could help her, and so they did. And they did it just with kindness and love in their hearts, and that's what God's love does for us. When we see people that need help and we can help them, that's just what people do when we're in God's family, and that's what people do for each other. So, yep, God's love. They are sharing God's love with Kandima, and it's so good. Anyway, are you ready for the next chapter? Here we go. Chapter 4, The House of Sickness. The next evening, the red bus came to carry luggage and passengers to the ship. Without any fear, Kandima climbed into the front seat with Tawan. Tawan had arranged for Kandima to share a room with an older girl named Gar. Gar was also going to Singapore for medicine, and the two girls became friends right away. On the ship, Tawan unpacked Kandima's pillow and blanket. After praying for a safe trip, Tawan said goodbye and left Guru to care for the girls. As the ship left the wharf, Guru, or Uncle, as Kandima was beginning to call him, said the girls should go back to their room. "There are big waves ahead," he said. "Go, and I'll bring supper to you." No one had told Kandima about seasickness. The ship rocked up and down and back and forth on the large waves. The movement of the ship made her head hurt and her stomach sick. "I don't want any food," she mumbled when Uncle came to the room later. "I want to go back to Tawan's house. I don't like being on a ship in the middle of all this water." Uncle smiled at her and patted her hand. "You'll get used to the sea in a day or two, Kandima. Then you'll feel as good as new." Kandima didn't think she would ever feel good again. After sailing for 6 days, the ship stopped in Singapore Harbor. Kandima wore her new yellow dress and had shoes on her feet for the very first time in her life. One look at the busy streets made her hold tightly to Uncle's hand as they got into a car and traveled to his house. They brought Gar with them too. The following morning, Uncle took both girls to the hospital. There, a nurse helped Kandima to her own bed in a large room with many beds, and in every bed was a sick child. Some had bandages wrapped around their legs or arms. The nurse spoke kindly to Kandima. "You will be here for several weeks. We will try to help you all we can. You must help us by doing everything the doctor says." Kandima understood. She nodded her head and smiled at the nurse. That afternoon, a nurse came to Kandima's bed with a small white pan and a bottle of medicine. In the other hand was fluffy white cotton. "We're going to wash your eye with some medicine," she said. Kandima was sure the medicine was going to hurt. "This is why I came to the hospital," Kandima told herself. "I've traveled all the way through the jungle and across the ocean so my eye can get better. I must do everything the doctor says to help me get well soon." She did not cry or move at all while the nurse washed her eyes. When the treatment was done, the nurse put her arm around Kandima. "You are a brave little girl." For weeks, the nurses treated Kandima's left eye with medicine. No matter what treatment or medicine was needed, Kandima accepted it thankfully. Every day, people came from other parts of the hospital to see the little girl who came from the mountain village. Uncle and his family came often to see Kandima. One doctor brought her a new doll. The doll had brown eyes and black hair with smooth, rosy cheeks. Kandima snuggled the doll in her arms. She looks the way I would like to look, thought Kandima. When the nurse wheeled her away to surgery, Kandima held tightly to the sides of the table. They are going to take out my bad eye, she told herself. It will hurt, but this hurt is what I came for. My face will look much better with my horrible eye gone. She saw something white above her and then smelled a strange odor. Then she fell asleep, unable to hear or feel anything. When Kandima awoke in her own bed, the operation was all over. Her face was wrapped in bandages and she couldn't see anything at all. Oh no, Kandima thought. I can't see. Has the doctor taken out both of my eyes? And that's the end of the chapter. Do you wonder? Why can Kandima not see? Did the doctor take out both of her eyes? Is Kandima gonna be blind? Well, I guess we'll have to find out tomorrow. Thanks for listening.